What is up, everybody? I'm Get Flanked, and today we're going to be going over how to play Hibana on Coastline, and more specifically, how to open up really powerful lines of sight with Hibana on Coastline. That's what the majority of this video is going to focus on. Now, Coastline is a map that kind of has a reputation that it doesn't need a lot of hard destruction, and I get where people are coming from, and I do think that's true to a certain degree. It's not a map where you're going to have the typical open a wall with thermite, go in and plant in most situations. The only real objective that's like that, I would say, is Penthouse. You can open the VIP wall and go in and plant. The other stuff isn't like that as far as hard destruction, but hard destruction can still be really powerful, and I'm going to show you how I like to use Hibana on this map to open up lines of sight that really make the defenders' lives miserable. Now, what I'm going to be showing you in this video isn't necessarily earth-shattering stuff that nobody's ever seen before, but I do think it's something that is underused, like significantly underused. And again, it's something that's really powerful that just isn't used as much as it should be. So that's really the goal, is to show this to you so that you can, use Hibana next time to open up these lines of sight and put a lot of pressure on the defense when you're attacking on Coastline. So with that said, let's go ahead and head into a custom game now, and I'm going to show you exactly what we're talking about. Okay, the first thing we're going to go over is a kitchen attack, and I realize that Hookah is probably the more popular site, but if you only take one thing from this video, I wanted it to be this, because I feel like this is probably the most powerful thing that I'm going to show you, and probably the most underused. Okay, so whenever you're attacking kitchen with Hibana, usually I'm going to try and set up my drone during the prep phase somewhere around this main door, this main double door. Okay, so a lot of times you'll see that I set up my drone right about here. Okay, when you spawn, you're going to watch for all the normal spawn peaks. Sometimes people will run out of service door over to there. Be careful of that. Obviously, you've got the main door peak. Be careful of that. Sometimes people can be on this service door right here, and then there's a sneaky one up here as well. My suggestion is to leave this closed. Do not shoot this out until you get over to the other side of this door, okay? Once you come over to here, be careful of this window right here. People will peek that. And then get behind this armored vehicle and drone out the main lobby, okay? What you want to make sure is that nobody's playing behind the desk. You want to drone out this area right here. You want to drone out courtyard a little bit. You want to make sure that nobody's just right inside of this door. And maybe just check white stairs real quick. Okay, so once you realize nobody's in there, now you can open this door. And sometimes that can be a little difficult with Hibana. And then you're going to put a hole right here on the right side of this wall. Okay, and ideally you're going to end up with 3 holes in this general area, all of which can be done from right here. But that's the first one you want to make, because that's the most powerful. Look at this line of sight. From right here, I can look through the main door, through my Hibana hole, through the kitchen door to the back of the kitchen wall right there. Okay, and just to show you exactly what we're looking at here, we'll walk through. Okay, so this is showing me right to right here. Okay, and this is a pretty popular spot for defenders. So this is a really powerful line of sight. Okay, so that's the first and probably most important hole you're gonna make. All right, the next hole you're gonna make is gonna be actually over on this wall right here. And put that one there. And then the third hole you wanna make is somewhere in the middle of this wall, right about there. Okay, so the good thing about this hole is that you can watch these 2 holes from kind of a little bit of cover right here. Okay. So that's strong. If somebody, because making these holes is going to draw some attention. If somebody starts coming to main lobby, it's nice to be able to hold those lines of sight from back here. But just to show you what this hole does, okay, is gives you a line of sight, again, back into that general area, but actually closer onto this rotate. So basically nobody can play a defender. You're really taking away this whole area for a defender, which is a really strong spot for them. This one makes it to where, with just this hole on the left, a defender can still play right here and feel relatively safe. I mean, obviously they can't cross, but they can play right here. They can still deny the default plant, which is right there, is what I would call default plant from service door. Once you have this hole here, they really can't play here anymore. Okay, you're taking this whole area away from Okay, now those are the dream 3 holes. Ideally, you want to get all 3 of those, and if you do, you're going to put a lot of pressure on the fence. But don't feel like you have to sit here and play these holes the whole time. Once I get the holes, generally, I will head up to the roof, and hopefully, my team's already starting to establish penthouse theater control, but maybe they're not. If they're not, then you can start droning that out. I always recommend bringing breaching charges with Hibana on this map. You can open them, the hatch yourself, drop here, and start applying pressure on your own to this area. Okay. Now, if you have to use your own breaching charge, then you're only going to have 2. But I recommend putting a hole here. This takes away the bathroom, which, again, you know, if you have a hole here, you're pretty much taking away any defense they have of the plant that's right here. And then the next one I would recommend would probably be, I probably would recommend VIP, just to get a hole right here. I mean, you already have the lines of sight looking into there, but this is a pretty powerful vertical line of sight right here. And then after you start getting the map control later in the round, you can start to push down here and applying pressure through the lines of sight that you created with your Hibana holes. So that's the idea right there, guys. Again, those 3 holes are going to put a lot of pressure in there. Sometimes you will see these walls bandited. If they are, ask your Thatcher to come and help you out. Most of the time, though, you're not going to see this this wall bandit charged. Again, usually if you do see anything electrified, it's going to be this. But it's an easy fix. So yeah, these 3 holes are really powerful, and it's very rare that you get all 3 of these and still lose the round as an attacker. So try that out. Okay, the next attack we're going to go over is the penthouse theater attack. Okay, and with this one, during the prep phase, you want to get your drone set up again around main door. Is the safest play. If you are feeling a little bit risky, you can just leave your drone right here once again. But if you're feeling a little bit risky, you can go up here. In a dream world, you're going to get your drone set up right about here. And if you can get your drone set up here, that's great. Don't feel like you have to, though. I mean, you can just leave it down at the main door again. And, you know, leave it right about here. That's fine. So kind of the same concept here. You're going to come out of main entrance spawn, look for all your spawn peaks, and then head over to the white stairs window, okay? Being careful of this spawn peak as you head over. You want to leave all of this closed. You want all of this barricaded, okay? Definitely the front door you want to leave barricaded. Do not shoot that out. As you come over here, below white stairs, it's safer probably to drone over here. Make sure you shoot this camera out as well. Okay. Use your drone to drone out white stairs. You want to make sure that nobody's playing white stairs, luggage. Generally, nobody's going to be playing here because you have a line of sight from roof. And then the couches area right here. Once you see that that's clear, you can start to rappel up. And you want to put a hole right here. Okay. Now, again, especially with this one, just put a hole and go away, okay? All right, you don't want to sit there and try and play it from the window. You don't want to rappel in and put pressure there immediately. Just put a hole there and go away. And then you can come back to that later in the round, okay? Now you can help your team with maybe like a VIP push. You put 1 hole in theater. Now generally I'll head over and start helping my team clear VIP. And again, you know, you're working with a Thatcher. You know, that wall that we just put a hole in. Most of the time, you don't see them have it electrified or a mute jammer on it, but sometimes you will see it. And if you do, you know, you can work with a Thatcher to help you out there. After you clear VIP as a team, the Hibana holes that I recommend would actually be 2, so that you can walk in. And I recommend them on that side of the wall. Open that. And that's going to be kind of your default plant, I would say, on a penthouse attack would be right here if you get VIP control. If not, a lot of times people will plant over there, but this is what I would recommend it for the Hibana that you need to be focusing on. Now, after you open those holes, if you're not the one planting, now's the time where you can start to drone out this side of the map, make a push over, and come back to the hole that you put in theater at the beginning of the round, okay? And the reason this is so powerful is because a lot of times the defenders are going to be using these two walls right here to try to stop attackers, both from this window, from this door. This is like what I would consider the power area for defenders. This is the safest spot for them. If you have a hole right here, they aren't going to feel safe the entire time. And as you come back here later in the round, you can use your drone to see if they're looking, to see if they're set up there. And if you have a hole in VIP, generally their focus is going to be towards that direction. You can kind of sneak in here and get your kills, okay? Remember, there is a static cam right here. But yeah, I mean, the idea really is if you put a hole in the theater wall at the beginning of the round, which I have many times, you're going to get away with this. The defense that tries to play theater for the rest of the round is going to feel really, really uncomfortable. It's just a really bad situation for them. So yeah, that's the big concept there with the penthouse attack. Okay, now for the Hookah Attack. And again, this is probably the most popular site, but this is probably the one that I feel like these Hibana holes had the least impact on, but they're still important. And I'll show you the ideal use of the Hibana X-Kairos pellets for this attack. I always spawn main entrance on this map, and I've gotten used to looking for these spawn peaks. So, you know, if you feel more comfortable in a different spawn, then go for it. But I like the main entrance spawn on this map. I feel like it's the safest. So with the Hookah Attack, you're going to get to the roof right off the get-go. A lot of times I will just go ahead and open this hatch. You know, if you got a sledge rappelling up with you, then let them open it or whatever. But a lot of times I'll just come over and open the hatch right from the get-go, and then I'll check my lines of sight here just to make sure nobody's peeking that. I'll check luggage to see if anybody maybe is playing in there. And you have to be careful here because a lot of times people will actually peek from bases. There's a kind of a cheeky line of sight right there. But sometimes you can catch people, you know, rotating in this door and out. But you have to be careful up here. You know, people can fight back against this position. So the first hole that I think is probably the most important is going to be right about here, okay? Now, a lot of times, this is what I'm going to go for first, but there's a lot of places that defenders can shoot this off of. If somebody's playing in VIP, they can shoot the X-Kairos off. If they're playing in main lobby or anywhere down there, a lot of times you'll see defenders shoot these pellets off. But the big reason that I like this is, actually, I should have made it a little bit higher. So make that a little bit higher up there. That's my bad. But the big reason I like this is because you're looking at the defender rotate here, and I'll go inside in a minute and show you where this hole is. But yeah, make this hole just a little bit higher, and that'll be more ideal. The next hole that you want to make is going to be right about here. Now, if somebody's shooting your X-Kairos pellets off and you can't find them, then don't do this one. You know, don't waste your X-Kairos. I do feel like that's the most important hole though, so that's the one you want to make first. This one, you're trying to take away this kind of couches area here, and again, we'll show you where this is. So there's the two holes you're going to want to make from the roof in the beginning of the round. I do recommend shooting this barricade out while you're up here. You can do this from relative safety. You just kind of have to be patient with it, especially as Hibana. You know how it goes. But I like shooting this out because once this barricade is open, defenders have to worry about that. And you know, that's just an unsettling feeling being a defender and having that open. Let's go ahead and I'll drop down there and show you why I like that barricade being open. The other thing is you can attack this later in the round while making less noise. You're going to make noise when you drop, of course, but you're not going to make noise opening this, alerting them to you coming this way. Usually the defender's going to have a rotate right here. So as a defender, when this door is open, again, it just feels really nerve-wracking to have that rotate. Now you can see this hole right here, if it's a little bit higher, is going to be looking at this rotate. Again, you want that. I can kind of shoot that out so you can see. Yeah, you can see with the hole up at the top of the roof right there, you would get line on this rotate right here. So that's a powerful line of sight. And then this hole is going to try and apply pressure. If you can get it a little bit higher, you can. There's some stuff in the way there, but it's going to try and apply pressure to the couches area right here. Okay, those are two really good lines of sight. The third line of sight you're going to use is usually I'll try to get control. I open the bathroom hatch. I'll usually try to drone out penthouse, theater, if I can drop safely, and then push as a Hibana into VIP. Then This line of sight right here is pretty good. Usually the defenders are going to have this reinforced. That's why I'm using that. Usually the defender will reinforce this because they know how strong that line of sight is. But yeah, this line of sight right here is really strong too. Again, you're cutting off more of this couches and more of the billiards room. So those are the 3 holes that I think you want to make as a Hibana. Those are probably the 3 most powerful holes you can make. Again, remember to put this one a little bit higher than I did. And yeah, that's those 3 holes are going to apply a lot of pressure to the defenders when you're attacking the Hookah objective. So that's the 3 sites that I think are most common. I don't have anything for you on Blue Bar, unfortunately, but at my rank, and I think for the average player, you very rarely see that site played in ranked. So yeah, hopefully this helps you guys out. Again, this isn't necessarily like earth-shattering, but this is something that I think is underused on this map. You know, a lot of these things that I'm showing you here, you may need some help from a Thatcher, but a lot of the times you're not going to see any resistance here. You can just kind of open these holes early in the round because people aren't expecting it. I think that hard breach is something that's underrated on Coastline. So try this out. Again, the biggest thing that I want to tell you is don't feel like you need to make these holes and then just stare at them the whole round. Make the holes, rotate, apply pressure somewhere else, help your team get map control, and then come back to them later in the round. That's probably the strongest way you can use them. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you like and subscribe, and I'll have more coming your way here soon.